And we are live for the night, July 27, 2023. God bless all of you. Let's get it. Suppressed assets set free is the title. I let Twitter know. I said I hadn't thought of a clickbait title yet, but suppressed assets set free sets the tone for tonight's session. Really looking forward to it. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to share this one out on Twitter while we're getting warmed up. If you appreciate what we're doing here, it's always appreciated when you smash that thumbs up for us after you make sure that you subscribed and hit that notification bell. If you're new here, the platform continues to grow. The bear market continues on, and we continue to see the real ones prosper. The real ones achieve success. And if you're looking to get tapped in with our community, please join us. Please join us. If you feel what we're doing over here, suppressed assets set free, just put out the tweet. If you could do me a favor by going over to Twitter real quick and retweeting that one, sharing this one out on Twitter, getting it going live for the night, 7:47 on the West Coast. TikTok with us, YouTube live, crypto market, let's check it. 29,200 for Bitcoin, Ethereum at 1860, and XRP at 71 cents. Here's what we have to understand, folks, is that the volatility is going to continue. We got a little bit of action this week with the Fed decision. We got some more on the way. We actually have 2 full moons in August, funny enough, if you want to tap in the astrology into your technical analysis, combined with the fundamental analysis. How is your program working out, right? And we just exited another Bitcoin short. That's that yellow line there. I like to leave that up just as a reminder on the last Bitcoin short that I had, made my entry at. But we did take profits on that. I'm on the sidelines right now with my cash, back down to 29.2 right now at the time of this recording, nearly 8 o'clock on the West Coast. We're going to get right on into the update, folks, and we're talking current events, cryptocurrency, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. I am not here to clickbait you, as I was joking about getting started with this session. I am here to cut through the confusion and the noise and the FUD and get to the truth. And I don't put suppressed assets set free in the title for nothing, for clickbait, for views. I do it to explain that we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that is present, that is here, that is accelerating. And if we play around, we're going to get left behind. As Rosie Rios, the 43rd Treasurer of the United States, said, the train has left the station right before she went to go join the board of directors at Ripple. The $1 trillion woman. We talk about solving $1 trillion problems. And unfortunately, I know some folks want me to stick to crypto, but it's not going to happen because we got to understand the current events too and how the world stage is going to play out. So let's cover both sides. You guys know I don't get political. I'm just trying to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history, God willing. So let's take a look at this situation, starting out with the big bad orange man. President Trump has been charged with 3 more counts in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case, including willful retention of national defense information and corruptly destroying or concealing records. Trump is now being accused of demanding a staffer delete camera footage to obstruct the probe, they say, according to the AP. This comes shortly after it was revealed that obstruction charges were being levied against the maintenance director of Mar-a-Lago in the case. So 3 more charges for Donald Trump. We flip over to the other side, though, and this gets interesting. U.S. Congressman says J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, and other major banks submitted 170 suspicious activities reports alleging President Biden's family committed, and I'm not even going to say the crimes because I don't want to get in trouble. Now think about that. I'm worried about getting in trouble for talking about the crimes that are alleged. Let's let him have his day in court. Young little Hunter, plea deal fell through. Uh-oh. Whoops. And I'm not here to pick a side. Like I said, how do we take care of our family? Oh, we got this left, right, Trump, Biden. What is going on in Congress with Dianne Feinstein falling asleep? You have Mitch McConnell. What is taking place with the DC dance, and how does it relate to us back home? How does it relate to us back on Main Street, running our businesses and with the investments that we're making on an every single day basis? That's why we covered this. No, you guys are going to see this political theater is going to continue into the next year. It'll give me plenty of content to talk about. Trump and Biden getting impeached, and, it's just going to be a back and forth until November 2024. Will be our next election. And that's a big reason why we talk about survive till 2025 is because when you look at the political dynamics right now in the United States in regards to the DC dance is what we call it, it's corruption, it's blatant, out in the open disregard for the American principles that made this country an opportunity. where no matter what you believe in, who you love, the opportunity that we once had is being destroyed. The dollar as we know it is being destroyed, and the suppressed assets are being set free. The real ones can see it. Now, the masses waiting for the mainstream media to tell them. You got the other kids waiting for the chart to move, right? They've been nudging this thing. Us in the XRP community getting frustrated. We're nudging this thing. And we need to be proud of what we got. And we need to be patient with what's being built out here because it's absolutely massive and absolutely is happening. Folks, the mainstream media, the Fed, acting like they're winning the fight against inflation, this thing's about to flip upside down. And as I said in a video yesterday, the Fed just gave up. They admitted that they may start to raise interest rates. They said no interest rate cuts this year. There's no cuts on the table this year that they're expecting. Okay, fair enough. But they said something very particular here. They said that they would be willing to start cutting rates before we get down to 2% inflation. Now, the 2% target has always been their target that they're trying to get this thing down to. And as we said, as they were raising rates at the fastest pace in history, we kept on saying, guys, they're going to kill the everything bubble. Our whole system rides on debt. If we cut debt out, if people can't get new credit for their business, credit for, if they can't pay off the credit cards that they run up every month, we're bust. And that's where we're at. And we're going to go through some of the real estate data tonight as well, too, because the real estate standstill is present. Now, there is still some action taking place and there's still lots of opportunity, but we have to understand what's underway. The dollar here, the dollar's days are falling, right? And we continue to lose value in that dollar. The CPI data that the government's telling us, remember, if you want to trust our government and the data that they provide, good luck, God bless. 3% inflation. I don't know one thing in my life that is only 3% more expensive than it was last year. You guys let me know. I saw somebody saying in Australia they're paying $9 for a bag of Doritos. And so you guys are seeing it in Europe. You guys are seeing it all over the place right along here with the Americans who really are understanding what's taking place, which is not 3% inflation, which is not winning the fight against inflation, and was the fact that they were going to kill our economy to even try to fight it, to even try to. So we got up to 9% inflation. 9.1 was where we topped out at. Now we're back down to 3.1. And they're saying that they may actually start cutting before we get to those 2% target inflation. And so once again here, they're about to continue the massive money printing operation that we've had in the past, quantitative easing. It's done in many different forms, full backstop for all the banks. But what do we have right here, folks? You look at the commodities, the real value. Oil is back above $80. The 48% decline from June 2022 until May was a major factor in lowering year-over-year CPI gains. Exactly to our point. Big part of why the CPI inflation came down from 9 to 3% was because the dollar was strong for a period in time because the interest rates were being raised, right? You could bet on the US dollar. You could pick up our bonds, right? And bet on that. But the inflation got cut. Now we have oil back above $80. The 26% rise in the 3 months since is likely the beginning of a larger move that will reverse any inflation progress. The Fed's going to need a much bigger rate hike. That's from Peter Schiff. Are they going to have and be willing to do it, right? They're talking about one more 25 basis points, another 0.25%. Peter Schiff says the bond market is on the verge of a major breakdown. Not only will this raise the cost of financing the $32.7 trillion national debt, but it'll crush the loan portfolios of already insolvent banks. That means a return to QE to bail them out. Fixed rate mortgage will soon hit 8%. Can you guys believe that? Now I just see that Padron Visuals, appreciate the 50 spot. Massive support there. Awesome work, brother. When do you recommend buying a house? Also, do you do real estate so I can use you as my agent when I'm ready? I do not sell real estate. I am going to be buying my own first house, and I'm going to be investing in real estate. The real estate asset class is very important to our generational wealth strategy, I should say. Very crucial. And the tax incentives is incredible, right? Depreciation, all the different ways that we can, not 1099, 1041, tax deferred exchange, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where we can defer our taxes, continue to roll them into the next deal. There's so much here to be had. But we have to understand, I'm about to go into the real estate data right now. is that we are walking over fallen soldiers when it comes to the real economy, when it comes to businesses on Main Street, and when it comes to real estate. So Peter Schiff just says mortgage rates back to 8%. We've already gone bust in real estate. We've already gone dead. I'm going to show you guys the data right here. Look at Ken McElroy, one of the best in the space. After the Fed's latest meeting, here's my single family prediction. Refinances to stay down, sales to be down, rental rates to continue to rise, and new construction to be down due to higher interest rates. We look at QE Infinity, the drastic drop in housing inventories historically in a chart. New listings have absolutely fallen off a cliff. Everyone is stuck in their 3% mortgage. Without any transactions, how long until we start seeing massive layoffs in the housing industry? Realtors, lenders, etc. So new listings falling off a cliff. We look here, Ken McElroy, consensus. Construction to be down due to higher interest rates. Now, what I'm seeing right now, thank you everyone for tuning in here tonight. $10.31 exchange. Thank you for correcting me there, Lewis. Appreciate that. $10.31 exchange, exactly. What we're looking at here, everyone's stuck in their 3% mortgage. And we're already at 7% on average, and we're moving up towards potentially 8%. And now inflation's going to rear its way back, along with the jobs not being as strong as they were. Now, you wouldn't believe that if you listen to mainstream media and if you look at the unemployment data, because we're down at 3% or wherever they're telling us we're at. But we have a lot of people that aren't participating in the economy. Now, I joke about how in the markets, over the last 10 years, we had a participation trophy economy where if you did just show up, if you actually had the ambition to even just try and throw your name in the hat, throw your name in the ring, you won. You got a participation trophy. It was easy times, cheap credit, cheap debt. Now with real estate, we see a lot of people trapped and a lot of people still trying to get 2021 and 2022 peak prices. I am seeing it in my area. An interesting price point in my area that I'm watching is about 900 to 1.5 million. Now, you folks out in the Midwest and in small town America, which I am in small town America, that's why I laugh at this price point, because it's not affordable for most people in my area, right? 900,000 to 1.5. I'm just laughing at some of these listings, but the price cuts that I'm seeing, people are willing to wheel and deal, right? People are getting more desperate, and the deals are going to come our way. Now, just because they're throwing out a number, that's just a good starting point. Okay, great idea. Yeah, it probably was in 2022. It probably was in 2021. We're in a different reality right now. Just like I talk about XRP being its own reality, we're in a different reality for our overall economy and the real estate market, which is such a big part of our economy. Talk about the jobs, the realtors and the lenders and those that have invested in real estate, right? And I'm going to make a separate video for first-time homebuyers because I think that there's going to be incredible opportunities for those that are first-time homebuyers to wheel and deal with the builders. There's a whole deal going on right now why the prices have remained high and why they've been up for the last 5 months is because new home sales are continuing to keep this market propped up because builders are offering rate buy downs and incentives to get people into the house. So they're getting these prices because they're doing, some of them are lifetime rate buy downs, right? So that is why when we look at the data for the last 5 months, we've had home prices rising here in the United States, and because we have a lack of inventory. And I highlight the point that if you're in a hot market, there is still a shortage of quality housing. I'm in a hot market for, a growing city. Our population growth is over 10, almost 13% in the biggest city in my county. So 13% population growth and a lot of money coming in. And so my market's hot. And right now the new construction for a 1500 is right around 500 to 550. 2000, you're right around 600. And the new stuff, 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. If it's nice in the custom, they're thinking that they're going to get, anywhere from 800,000 to 1.2. But I'm seeing some interesting properties come online in that area that you're out with 20 acres too. You get the 3,000 square foot house, the 4,000 square foot house with the acreage. And we have some new homes. There's a few different developments in my area. There's a high-end new homes, 800,000 to $1 million. And, I mean, the Californians are coming and the Canadians are coming, so they're lucky. There is still a market for that. It's unbelievable, right? That's not the local. That's not my family, right? But the local is looking at a new home construction at 500,000 to 600,000 for a basic cookie cutter deal that doesn't really excite me. But what's exciting for me is going to find the builders that will put in real work, being able to negotiate with them, and being able to get deals done. So sourcing deals and having relationships with builders and contractors, property managers, and being able to really move into this asset class in a serious way is the plan and program. It's not a matter of just showing up and playing around and trying to have one house, 2 duplexes, and 1 fourplex. And that's what's exciting for me about the real estate market right now, is that we get to see a lot get exposed. And it's going to be an incredible opportunity for first-time home buyers and for those that are looking to move in and invest in this asset class in a serious way. So although this data, not good, and for those that work in the industry, this is something that we saw back in 2007, 2008. This is normal, right? And this is what happens because real estate's based so much off debt, and we've had the cheapest debt in 1,000 years, relatively speaking. Literally the cheapest credit in thousands of years, the cheapest credit known to man has been our economy for the last decade, right? And I've seen in some areas, there's more agents than there is houses for sale by a lot, like tens of thousands. And so it's like, well, I feel bad, but also this is something that we've been talking about and preparing for too. Right? This is every single business sector, every single asset class is getting disrupted right now. What's going to prosper? Well, I think that real estate as a commodity will always prosper, right? We're talking about the suppressed assets set free. Real estate has not been suppressed at all. Now it's finally in contraction because of a new debt market. And so we have to do a real estate reset. It doesn't mean that real estate's bad. Real estate's one of the best asset classes to invest in. And if you really know what you're doing, if you're serious, you can build some generational wealth. But I see what I've witnessed myself, someone who has a property service business and gets to deal with a lot of this, whether it's just regular homeowners or commercial properties or investors, is that there's a lot of participators, people participating and having fun. And this gets a little bit tighter, and those that didn't adjust, that didn't prepare, are going to get left behind, right? But I'm really excited for the real estate asset class. What did I have? Okay. Yeah, we're going to move on into crypto right now. I'm going to be posting another real estate update here shortly, though. Guys, thank you for tuning in tonight. If you haven't already, please smash that thumbs up for me and share this one out far and wide. Let everyone know that we are live for the night on a Thursday evening. Cheers. Hopefully you guys are pulled up here, ready to get it for a session here, because we got to talk about a lot more. We're going to move on into the cryptocurrency update, though. Now, per usual, as is standard, Chair Gary Gensler says crypto is a highly speculative asset class filled with fraud. And that's the thing about the SEC, is that they are in bed with the fraud. Sam Bankman-Fried gets his campaign finance charges dropped today. Prosecutors dropped campaign finance charge against FTX Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, the allegation is that Sam Bankman-Fried donated $93 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians. And today, we get the U.S. government dropping the political campaign finance charges. So when we talk about being rampant with fraud and speculation, well, we didn't have to speculate. We knew this was going on. And we watched you guys have it running right underneath your nose and filling your pockets, as a matter of fact, to the tune of $93 million to the politicians. Gary Gensler included, SEC included. And so $93 million in stolen customer funds to U.S. politicians by one of the biggest frauds in the space. And now those charges get dropped. And I believe that Sam Bankman-Fried is doing a deal I think he's going to expose a lot more. And so we're going to have to continue to watch that one. But now, speaking of Congress, we do have a couple good guys and gals. Warren Davidson speaking on possible amendment to HR 4766, the Stablecoin Act of 2023. Now, he's talking about commodity-backed stablecoins, and he says it's stable because the value of it represents 1 ounce of gold. Let's play this clip here, folks.
That in the market today, there are commodity-backed stablecoins. So in the absence of regulation by the federal government, the New York Department of Financial Services, for example, has recognized commodity-backed stablecoins. And commodity-backed stablecoins, to be clear, are a little different than what we think of as dollar-denominated stablecoins. So if you had a commodity-backed stablecoin backed by gold, it's stable because the value of it represents 1 ounce of gold. In the case of New York Department of Financial Services, they regulate a commodity-backed stablecoin backed by gold, and they have the entity offering it has physical custody of gold that is audited in conformance with the process laid out by this bill. And so I hope that we can get there. I'm thankful to be working with Mr. Himes for a possible amendment moving forward that would account for commodity-backed stablecoins. As part of our conversation, Mr. Himes has agreed to consider a regulatory regime for certain tokens that are backed by gold to make sure that 1 token equates to the promised amount of gold from the issuer. These would not be denominated in dollars, but would be redeemable for a fixed amount of the underlying commodity. And we're working on that language because that's a little different than the way that New York DFS has it. We would also allow for these coins to be brought under the state framework of the bill, which is the status quo. And state regulators would oversee the licensing and examination of these coins, just as they do today. Create a term for these coins to adequately capture their characteristics to distinguish them from one-to-one dollar-denominated coins. We would work together going to rules to see if there are space for these tokens in the bill, and these would be transferable in the same manner as the payment stable coins that we are discussing today.
That's enough. You guys get the point. Basically, what we're looking at is commodity-backed tokens, right? Whether those are stable coins, whether they're not stable, somebody's going to claim that they're backed by a commodity. And this is the massive amount of value that is moving to DLT, and why we say that it's not just XRP. There are other distributed ledger technologies that will be crucial to the new financial system, and they all play a role. And so I really believe that you're going to see many of these assets tokenized on XRP, XLM, and XDC, along with a few other blockchains as well. Those are just a few of the ones that I like. That it's clear that the team, that the developers, that the community has their eyesights on big problems. Ripple says they want to put a dent in the universe. Right? I mean, we're talking about trillions. We're talking about quadrillions within the XRP community. We have our eyesights on, and our dreams and our goals and our prayers on big goals. Whether or not we get there doesn't matter. But now we're getting set free, and this is all part of the alternatives from the dollar. So it's not just gold and silver suppressed assets getting set free. It is also distributed ledger technologies like XRP, XLM, and XDC. And we can see that reflected in their price action just over the past couple weeks. You could have got XDC at about 2-3 cents. What was it at? About 3 cents a month ago, right? Back up to 6 cents. 100% pump. XLM 100% pump. XRP 100% pump. Crash all the exchanges. And so the suppressed assets have been set free, but the system's breaking down. That's the exchanges, that's the banks. The banking crisis is not over. That's going to continue as well. They have serious problems over there with the banks. But now we finally have Congress, which is addressing cryptocurrency, going to give us a level playing field. And if you look at how they're trying to define most of these tokens, they're trying to define most of these digital tokens as commodities. Right? The tokens in themselves are commodities and or currencies. And the only thing that is a security would be an investment contract between two parties. The underlying token is never a security in almost all instances. There's probably some instances where the underlying asset would be a security, right? But when it comes to, most of these tokens, they are trying to make them and define them as commodities, digital tokens. FinCEN described XRP as a virtual currency. So they are a commodity similar to gold and silver in that they can be used as a monetary currency, but then they also have additional utility as well. This takes the jurisdiction away from the SEC, but I dropped a video earlier today, hopefully you guys saw it, where I said the SEC is coming after crypto. And as I explained, as I've been saying for the last couple of years, that the rest of the space was going to get killed because SEC and Gary Gensler is going to be able to come after most of these cryptocurrency projects because they did ICOs. Unless there is a safe harbor passage that is put within the bill that Congress is looking at that says, even if you did an ICO, we're going to allow you a safe harbor. We didn't provide clarity. Now, that would be the right thing to do, by the way. That would be the right thing to do. But I do think that there are clear violations of many of these companies violating the securities law. So I dropped a video earlier today, it was about 10 minutes long, where I talked about the SEC coming after crypto. For us in the XRP community, we know we have clarity for sure. We know the XRP in and of itself is not a security. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't take your XRP and put it into an investment contract that is a securities offering, right? That does not ever make XRP, the underlying asset, a security, but the contract itself is the security. So I try to simplify this as much as possible, but I think a lot of the crypto space has not been thinking about this, right? They got behind a narrative, they got behind a meme, they got part of a community, they finally had some friends. Hey, well, I mean, the crypto space has been a joke for a lot of it, right? I don't BS, right? I don't sugarcoat it. A lot of this space did not have utility. And even if they were trying, it doesn't mean that you make it. Right? This is a cutthroat arena that we're stepping into, especially when you address payments, and especially when you address some of the biggest problems in the world, i.e., the first big lawsuit is dropped against Ripple. Going after Ripple, going after XRP. But when you look at this bill, folks, it's not all good, right? We get this tweet here from Yogi Bear. He says they want to remove self-custody. They have removed this section, so here's my argument. I can self-custody cash and metals, but not my digital assets. See the hypocrisy here. So there was a clarification that was in the original bill, I guess, where they were going to allow you to self-custody, and they said that they weren't going to get involved in that, but it looks like that has been removed. So unlike your cash, unlike your silver, you're not going to be able to self-custody potentially. So this is where I say, this is why I call it the DC dance, is we got to watch closely. The other thing too is that in regards to how this impacts the markets, when the government and, Congress is starting to get it and they're about to pass something, I'm going to watch what attack is coming next at the crypto space, i.e. whether that be Tether, major stablecoin, another exchange. The SEC has a lot of lawsuits to drop. And so that's why I made my video today highlighting the point, that the fact that folks should really take a look at their bag and consider, did my project do an ICO? Is there one company that's building out this whole ecosystem? Did they do an ICO? And can they handle a lawsuit like the SEC coming after Ripple, having to spend $200 million? Nobody else in the space really has that besides exchanges, right? If you look at all these other projects, companies in the space, there's not many that have that type of money. Maybe Circle, right? Bitfinex, I'm sure, with Tether. I'm sure they have some cash. I'm sure they got some deals. And you're watching Binance still laundering and just creating new stablecoins out of thin air. There was another one this last week. It's like every week now we get a new stablecoin that's printed out of the Binance ecosystem. And so this is why I warn about, what could be coming for the crypto space. While we're getting excited because Congress is about to pass regulations, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink says it's the best thing ever and we're going to transcend traditional currencies. That's right when they set us up to hit us once again. And I think that the SEC is going to be coming after us. But I also think that, a lot of this space too, the fraud and manipulation has to go. It's just that simple. So we got to watch this DC dance, folks. We'll see if they end up giving us self-custody or not. I'll be burying my XRP somewhere. Folks, we are under attack. If you haven't figured it out by now, cash, silver, just, they put you on a list if you're a prepper, right? If you stock up some food, if you have a garden, you're like a terrorist now, according to it's crazy, right? If you have a garden, if you have some cash, if you have some precious metals, ding. If you invest in XRP, ding, ding, ding. You believe in a few other theories, you're definitely on that list, right? What happened to America? Like I said, there's just an agenda here to destroy the opportunity and come after and set up the middle class and the poor that are just trying to make it. And so I try to laugh and make a joke and keep it lighthearted, but we're talking about real families, real businesses being shut down. I think a lot of folks are still we're having a good time. Now, I was having a good time. Last night, I was barbecuing. I was grilling and grounding. That's what I told my Discord group. Grilling and grounding. Tonight, I was gardening and grounding, spending time with the family. And, trying to enjoy the what we have here. Very thankful, very blessed. But also just on a warlike posture. Warlike posture. The war might not be here in the form of a kinetic war like we see out in Ukraine, Russia, but the war is definitely here in the form of a spiritual, financial, and there's a few other battlefields that we have to fight as well, too. I'm not going to get into all of it, but you know what I'm talking about. So that's the fight for the common man and woman that's just trying to apply some common sense to this situation, to these problems that we face. Now, you absolutely love to see it, and this really brings the point home for everyone who is wondering, why do you put suppressed assets set free in the title? Well, COMEX registered silver drops 3.1 million ounces. This is in one day. And folks, this is equal to 9% of the total registered supply for the COMEX. So nearly 10% of the total registered supply getting swooped up in one day. Now recall, we covered this news just yesterday that the vaults rose 1.4 million ounces. And I actually retweeted this one out here from Michael Silver Squeeze. I retweeted this and I said, they're trying to keep them filled up. Now today, we get 3.1 million ounces drained from the COMEX vault. I covered how Bank of America picked up 137,000 ounces on the contracts for gold and 8.8 million on the contracts for silver. So Bank of America was going on a buying binge for gold and silver contracts and options. So right now, folks, you are seeing the suppressed assets getting set free by Congress passing regulation, by tying together commodity-backed DLT, commodity-backed tokens, I should say, on DLT. This is the secret sauce to replace the US dollar, and whoever wants to remain in power at the Federal Reserve, at the DC Corporation, within the cabal, they better have a plan. They better have the gold. They better have some XRP. If you think that the new financial system is going to run on Bitcoin, good luck, God bless. Let me know how it works out. Right? Whatever you think that the new system is going to be backed by, this is the death of the dollar. That we have to reset, restructure, revalue. $32.6 trillion in debt. $1.8 trillion we'll pay on the yearly basis on our interest alone. 800 billion defense budget. So we're approaching nearly $1 trillion defense budget. I'm sure after we, continue on with the Bidenomics, though, it's going to get better. We just keep our faith, just trust the program, enjoy the barbecue, and trust Bidenomics. And clearly, the insiders and the institutions aren't waiting around. Right? For those with eyes to see, there's a reason why 3.1 million ounces just got drained from the vault. There's a reason why I've been seeing our community stack up the precious metals, which you can get by going to my website, ZachRector.com, and just let us know if you want the metal shipped directly to you or if you want to roll over a 401k retirement savings account, and we'll help you get it done. And I've been stacking these suppressed assets and thanking God for the opportunity to do so, because I thought that we were going to be flipping the switch a long time ago. Right? The only thing that we've really gotten wrong has been the timeline. Which, who cares, right? The timeline's been extended. Everything's still at play. And we still have made money in the meantime. Shorting Bitcoin, still running real businesses still growing. That's what we do. Getting ready to move on real estate in a serious way. Now, this is kind of the news, though, that the mainstream media never covers. They never cover what's taking place with the metals, right? They joke about the BRICS nations, and what they're trying to do. The BRICS are ready to do it, and it's very simply done. We know that you can build a CBDC on the XRP ledger in one day with Ripple's help. So in one day, any country that wants to get away from the dollar can build their own CBDC and back it by whatever they want on the XRP ledger, if they wanted to. Now, maybe they want to work with somebody else. Sure, go ahead. But what I see right now is that Ripple is sitting down with those that matter the most. I think that folks that wanted to get a bigger chunk of Ripple and weren't able to, there's been an ongoing fight, i.e. the lawsuit that took 2.5 years that we're still in, kind of, right? The Ripple institutional sales is continuing on to trial potentially unless they settle up. So we're still in this lawsuit, but we do have clarity on XRP. So that was a historical victory right there for XRP and for all of the digital tokens that play a role as a commodity and or a currency, kind of like XRP, kind of like the few other utility coins that we've talked about. And you're seeing the gold bugs finally come along to understanding DLT, like Peter Schiff and others. Robert Kiyosaki, he's a big Bitcoin guy now. He's a big crypto guy, in my opinion. I think that he's picked up some bags for sure, not just Bitcoin. Maybe some XRP, but that's just my speculation. How could you not? How could you not? Elon Musk, what do you think about Elon Musk picking up some XRP too, right? How is it possible that he hasn't commented on a historic victory over the SEC? How is that possible that he has not mentioned XRP? It's not possible. It's not. Unless there's been a deal done. Unless Elon has a bag. Right? Like I said, there's a special reason why Elon hasn't commented on XRP. I put out that tweet and, there's a reason. When you look at the PayPal mafia, when you look at the ties that go back decades to use this technology, to use digital payments to kind of replace the dollar and replace the banks, it's been decades in the making. But the bankers, they're willing to spend billions of dollars fighting for this because there's trillions on the line. There's quadrillions on the line. That's not clickbait. That's not something I'm just dreaming of. There is quadrillions of dollars in the derivatives market. There is hundreds of trillions within the securities market, just within the United States. There is over 100 trillion of unfunded liabilities that the United States government has. I know a lot of people, they ask about debt too. Yes, debt's part of it as well. There's a lot of debt that needs to get reset, restructured, revalued, and potentially written off. You're starting to see student loan debt forgiven by Biden, right? He's trying to find his loopholes, even though Supreme Court ruled that it was unconstitutional. Still trying to buy some votes there, Bidenomics. Tell me what to buy. Well, I can't give you financial advice, but we see that the suppressed assets are being set free while we enter into a recession, while the system as we know it gets destroyed. Now, we've talked about this. So at the very top, you have the banking elite cabal that are still fighting to withhold their power. Underneath them, you have the small regional banks that are still fighting to make it, right? They're fighting to make it. They know that they don't have a backstop, a full backstop like the big banks do, the systemically important banks. They have full backstop. There's no reason to worry. And as we highlighted earlier in this episode, actually, Bank of America, JP Morgan, and others submitted over 170 suspicious activity reports in regards to the Biden family operations. And so I think that, folks talk about these banks going down completely. I think that we have a restructuring underway with the banking system as we know it, but there still are going to be a few banks left. The plan all along might be to bring it down to about 6, 12, a couple dozen banks. Maybe that's their ultimate plan, right? I don't know what it is, but I do know that the small and regional banks just aren't going to make it if they're not provided a full backstop, and the Fed continues this program of raising interest rates one more time, keeping the rates, elevated like this, and letting the banks have to eat these hundreds of billions of dollars of losses on their bonds and on their other loans that are also failing. The collateral is undervalued. And so this problem is all the way from the top down, and we're all fighting to survive. So the banking elites, the elites of the world, are fighting right alongside you and me. Do they have more power? Do they have more resources and connections? Maybe. Probably. Yeah. But we're going to fight like hell. And we're going to go down shooting until the very end, right? Because we understand that even if we die trying, right, that's a life worth living. Trying to save our country, trying to provide for our family, and trying to do right by our common man or woman. That's worth dying for. That's what we're doing. But you have to understand that they're willing to play dirty. See, we like to build up things the right way. They have the mentality, instead of building the biggest building in town, they come tear down your building to build their building, right? To have the biggest building in town, right? They want to come tear you down. And that's what's happening with, when I put out the video yesterday, the Fed continues to rug pull the U.S. economy. That's what we're seeing. But the suppressed assets are being set free because the rest of the world sees what's taking place, and they're done with our BS, and they no longer need to use SWIFT or the dollar at all for settlement between these countries and their commodities. That's why it's so important that our Congress passes something in regards to commodity-backed stablecoins and tokens, and regulations for the whole space. Laws for the whole space. We needed it years ago, and we need to get it done now. And you need to give the people the ability to self-custody too. Just like we can self-custody our cash, our gold. I wanted to make one more point too on CBDCs and digital ID. The masses are willingly going to walk into this world. Just like you're seeing the video circulating of all the kids, not just kids, all the folks, all the people lining up for WorldCoin. Scan your retina, give up your ID to receive token to be within the system. So they've stepped into line. They do whatever they told. They don't think for themselves, and they're getting desperate. These folks are getting desperate. And remember, I have sympathy for everybody right here that's fighting the good fight. I'm right there with you, feeding our family, paying our utility bills, paying our rent. I get it. I'm right there in it with everybody else. And what they have done by raising these rates is they've effectively popped the everything bubble. Now you're starting to see folks get rejected for credit, whether that's vehicle loans, whether that's mortgages, whether that's credit cards, whether that's for their business, right? So we're going to be moving into contraction, and many folks taking a second and third job, and we see that reflected in the unemployment data that's so strong, down to 3%. It's because folks are taking a second and third job just to make ends meet. While they send billions to various programs, you guys know what I'm talking about. While they continue to run up trillion-dollar deficits, we are going to have 1.8 trillion paid this year on the interest alone on our debt. Right? We're talking about running up deficits 2-3 trillion in our future here. 4 or 5 trillion. We just added 4 or 5 trillion essentially to our balance sheet at the Fed. The only reason that this allowed to happen was the Fed. So when I say that the Fed is rug pulling the US economy by raising interest rates at the fastest pace, it's because they flooded us with cheap debt. Now they're resetting the whole damn system on us. And the collateral damage is from the top down is the small and regional banks, all the way to the small businesses, all the way to the common middle class, poor, not going to make it. So what are they going to do? Gladly step up for UBI. Gladly step up for WorldCoin. Gladly step up for whatever. You are going to see more and more of this. So here's the thing. I have kind of a skewed deal on this because as someone who creates content, I've already put my name, my face, everything out there. So I'm already a public figure. I'm already used to that. But for the person that is trying to live a more private life, which I do try to keep quite a bit private, but for the person that's trying to, not give up everything, right? You're not going to be able to in the new system. They're setting it up so that, and you're thinking about all of the different conveniences that this is going to bring, this new system. The masses are gladly going to walk into it. They have no idea what they're walking into. If you reward the citizen, right, they're going to keep on repeating that activity, i.e., people haven't been going to work. They were collecting money for staying at home, and now that the programs are starting to kind of run out, folks are having to go back to work, i.e., our unemployment data is still, strong. People getting second and third jobs, and the PPP money and the stay-at-home money ended. The pay your student loan debt could be ending soon. And now if you, don't have a business that can handle your debt service, you're going to suffocate. You're going to drown in that debt. If cash flow does not cover debt service during these rough times, we're not going to make it. We've been talking about that for the last year too. Going into a recession, our to-do list, our first thing, before we figure out what crypto to buy, what automated market maker to put our XRP into, before we figure out anything as far as investments go, how to protect our money, the first thing that we talked about was making our money, making sure that we weren't going to lose our job, making sure that the company that we worked for was going to stay around, seeing what we could do to elevate our position within that company. How do we get a raise? Hey, boss, this inflation's getting out of control. I'm not just going to ask you for a raise. I'm going to provide more value here. Here's how I'm going to do it. Let's make some more money. Let's make sure that we make it through this. And that's what the entrepreneur is doing. See, I'm a conservative capitalist. I just run my little businesses, live a little basic conservative life, have my little garden, and I want to live in peace, right? But to run a small business in America now, you got to report to 20 different agencies, right? The compliance alone is an incredible bill, an additional tax. And you also have to remember that your taxes aren't included in the CPI. So as our property taxes go up, as all these other taxes go up, in my state, 25-50% of the gas is taxes. Like literally, our gas prices are like double, like 25-50% more, maybe at least. 25-50% of that is taxes. Unnecessary, completely unnecessary. But that's not included in the CPI. That's why we call it the CPI lie. So we've been preparing ourselves by, first off, making sure that we were going to still have a job, still have a business, still, start our side hustle, because not only did we want to keep it coming in, we wanted to figure out how we could expand it. We knew we were going to need more. Before we get to investing in suppressed assets, we knew we were going to need more because inflation wasn't going away and because they were lying about inflation. And even when the CPI lie got up to 9%, we understand that real value, real assets went up 20%. Jobs, services, products went up 20% plus. So after we talked about making it, we talk about protecting it. Defensive measures first. A good defense makes a strong offense. So we've been stacking precious metals and we've been stacking cash. That to me is defense. I don't expect a return so much as I expect to just maintain the value, even though on the suppressed assets like gold and silver, they're highly undervalued in my opinion, and I do expect them to be readjusted, be reset, whether that's 3,000, 5,000, or 50,000 per ounce gold. It's going to be fun. Whether that's $50 or $500 silver, it's going to be fun. Whether it's $5 or $589 XRP, it's going to be a blast. And we are going to have a plan for what we're going to do with those gains if they come. So, back to recession to-do list. Make sure we're making it. Figure out how we protect it. Defensive measures. From there, we're looking at digital assets and real estate. Some folks like stocks. Some like bonds. I don't like bonds because real inflation's higher than the 5% return that you're getting on your short-term T-bill. I get why folks would consider that a good return. You hop in, short-term time frame, 1 year, 2 year, even shorter time frames, 4 or 5%. I get it. But real inflation's higher than that, in my opinion. and I don't trust the U.S. government. I don't like the U.S. government. And I would rather have capital on my hands that I can work with and deploy. And that's what folks need to understand. We've been stacking gold, silver, real commodities, food and essential, and cash is the resource that we're going to use to buy deals. That's the only reason why we're sitting on it. That's the only reason why we work for it, is because it's still accepted right now for paying our bills and for growing our business. Paying our bills, paying our employees so that they can pay their bills, and growing our business. Now, as we see more and more of these banks implement and accept cryptos and allow crypto custody and allow you to start receiving cryptos and receive crypto payments, that problem goes away. That problem goes away completely. Okay, but in the meantime, we're waiting for Congress to finally get their act together and actually pass some regulations for the cryptocurrency space. They're doing the DC dance right now, some conservatives getting us excited. And, I'll just come out and say it. It seems like much of the Democratic Party is trying to stifle crypto. There's a few good ones on that side of the aisle. And remember, I don't care for either side. I want to win. I want to make money. I want to protect my family. I want to take care of this country. I want to provide a level playing field, an opportunity for all that are willing to work for it. They can achieve success. They can achieve some sort of dream. The American dream as we know it is dead by some people's observation. I think it's still alive, but it is getting much more difficult. Much more difficult. I was talking with someone the other day, and we were talking about how we used to, not really have sympathy for folks that said that the system was dead, you can't make it, and you might as well just throw your hands up and not work and give up. Because I'm the type that we're going to work for it. We're going to make some value, right? But more and more you look at it, the American citizen, the average person got rug pulled. They got lied to. They got indoctrinated. And it started back at the school. And they've done everything to break apart the families. They've done everything to provide disinformation and misinformation across the mainstream media for those that are trying to figure out what's going on. And then at the schools, the program is just completely backwards. Completely backwards. Go to school, get a good job. Well, we're seeing that it was working out. But now it's tightening up at a pace that's uncomfortable for many. And like I said, I have sympathy. I do have sympathy for those that worked hard, try hard. But I also am now starting to see that, a lot of people got fooled. A lot of folks with the 401k retirement accounts got fooled by the Wall Street boys and girls, the Wall Street shills, the Wall Street brokers. The 60-40 portfolio had the third worst year ever last year. The bonds had the worst year ever in history last year. Yet that's what Wall Street has us in. It is a broken system. Oh, is TikTok glitching? Maybe they're shutting down the TikTok stream. We're under attack right now, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you guys. Now, I did have one final chart that I wanted to show you guys. This is part of why we titled this episode here tonight, Suppressed Assets Set Free. You guys are going to be able to take a look at this chart and see what I'm talking about here with silver. This is massive. And this is the movement that we're expecting here shortly. This is from North Star Charts. Silver, just one obstacle remains between here and $50. The 44-year cup and handle projects much higher after that. So we have a 44-year cup and handle, which takes us even higher than $50. But just one obstacle remains. Let's take a look at this chart actually on the bigger screen. Let's take a look at that. The final obstacle right here, basically breaking above $30. $30 has been that big resistance. We need to break out of that level. But then we did see actually silver drop down today, and North Star shared this one. For all the daft people who think today's price action changes this forecast, it doesn't. Here's the chart after today's huge drop, and you can see that we're still well on our way. Still well on our way. 50-year. Final obstacle is the $25 to $28 price range. 25 to 28. So the question is, are you going to be able to accumulate these assets at, sub $30 silver, sub $1 XRP, sub 20 cent XLM, right? XLM just went up 100%. It was sub 10 cents. Sub 10 cents on your XLM. Now it's up to 15, 16 cents. XDC, can you pick up sub 10 cent XRP, or XDC, I should say? We're at about 5 cents right now. These suppressed assets are moving quickly, right? Now, we're still seeing some hits, but you look at the price action, that's one thing, that's one data point. But what have we been watching? The vaults. See, that's where the truth lies, is what's taking place with those vaults. When you see 3.1 million ounces get drained in a day, and that's almost 10% of the whole supply, 1/10 of the whole registered stock swooped. One deal. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, folks, about the institutional money? When you see Ripple buying back XRP and buying back their own stock, what does that tell you, folks? Can you comment down below and let me know what you guys think about Ripple buying back XRP and buying back their stock? Johnny B 797 with the 5 spot. Appreciate you, Johnny. Thank you for the support, guys. 500 in the chat. We're going to keep it rolling. If you haven't already, please share this stream out far and wide. Let's let folks know that we are rocking and rolling for the night. Let's take a look back at the crypto prices, guys. Right now we are at 29,257 for Bitcoin, 1862 for Ethereum, XRP's at 71 cents, BNB's at 240. And we have Dogecoin in the 7 spot at 7 cents. Almost 777. 7728. 7 cent Doge, 30 cent Cardano, $25 Solana. I haven't even looked at some of these coins in a long time, right? But yeah, we do see Stellar 16 cents. And then we see Cosmos at $8.92. Wow. I remember I was thinking of picking up Cosmos about 20 to 25 bucks. Filecoin at 444. That's interesting. Quant at 101.88. Algorand at 10 cents. Are you kidding me, folks? Jeez. I didn't realize that Algorand was down to 10 cents. And XDC just under 6 cents right now. 598. Not to be confused with 589. 598 for our XDC. Okay? So we're watching this one closely, guys. Let me know. Let's fire up a Q&A session. Thank you so much for tuning in here tonight, and appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to retweet this out. Q&A session starting now. Just put that one out so we can run up a session here, guys. Let me know what you're working with, and let's take this conversation wherever you guys want to go. We got through our news. We conducted our business. So let me know how I can help you guys out. How can we bring some value in this session here today? I'm buying gold backs from Money Metals. Yeah, so I'm buying physical bullion, stacking cash, and buying suppressed cryptocurrencies, DLT. I wish you take us in the day in life of a landscaping company. Yeah, so a lot of meetings, a lot of keeping it moving, a lot of selling, a lot of conversations, along with doing the media deal. It's a lot. It's constant movement. And God bless wifey for pulling me away from it and saying, come see us. And, it's a great life. It's a great life. Just hustling like heck, making sure the operations run smoothly, putting out the best content for you guys. And then when I do get a chance, just soaking up the time with my girls. Absolute blessing. Silver is a smart move. Shane, I think that silver is going to just melt faces. I really do. I think a lot of people are talking about how it's, they're not going to let it go up because it's used in so much production, it's used in so much batteries and utilities and solar that they're not going to let it go up. Well, just because you don't want something to go up doesn't mean you can stop it. If we have a 230 million ounce deficit last year and we're on pace to even eclipse that, in fact, I wrote a note. There's a 2 million barrel deficit daily. When we look at all of these commodities, right, they all kind of moved in tandem. We're back above $80 a barrel for oil, and now we have a 2 million barrel deficit daily. You look at silver. Silver has almost a worse deficit, 230 million ounces last year. Now we're going to be approaching probably 300 million ounces deficit this year. And you're seeing productions being cut and stopped and stalled out in different areas for different reasons. Whether it's the government shutting down production, whether it's chaos in Peru, in Poland, some of these other countries, you're seeing some serious issues. Now, you saw what took place just about a week or so ago when Russia rejected the UN grain deal. The cost of grain went up 10% overnight. So, we like to talk about the overnight meme in the XRP community when we talk about the flip of the switch and going to 589. We got to understand the overnight, is happening. These are big, price movements in commodities that have incredible track record as far back as humanity goes. As far back as our records goes, we've been trading grain. Right? For the last 100 plus years, we've been trading oil. Now, for the last couple hundred years, we've been using the US dollar, which you have to understand that that's been reset, restructured a few times along the way. All the way from greenbacks to the new Federal Reserve notes to the Bretton Woods Agreement after World War II to removing us off the gold standard in 71 to the reset that's underway, providing a full backstop from the Fed and eating up the balance sheets here, the Fed balance sheet going from about 4 trillion to 9, almost 10 trillion. Mortgage-backed securities, bonds, keeping the system afloat. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Molt Media. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, Mark. Mark, do I feel confident with my hardware wallet? Yes, I do. I have multiple hardware wallets, multiple hot wallets, multiple exchanges, multiple banks, cash here, cash there, prepping essentials, food, little garden. I wish I had a bigger garden. I have a little garden, but, little garden for now. I don't really have that much time to spend in the garden, but, threw some seeds in the ground and some stuff has sprouted. Mark Tilson, 5 spot. Portfolio almost doubled in 2 weeks with the S coins. Mark, that's the action that we're trying to prepare our community for right now. Is the suppressed assets getting set free and moving rapidly? Shutting down exchanges across the crypto space. That's what XRP did, guys. Don't forget it. And who knows where we would have gone if the exchanges still had liquidity. Now, the big what if, the big $1 trillion question for me is, what is Ripple going to do with this escrow come August 1st? Is Ripple going to fire back up programmatic sales to exchanges now that they know that that's not an offering of a security? Are they going to have to go through OTC market makers to get XRP into the hands of institutions in the United States? Are we going to start to see those deals announced? What's my favorite wallet? I just use a couple. What is the automated market maker? I don't have time to explain it in this episode, but it's basically liquidity pools for the XRP ledger that will be based off of currency pairs. So you'll have a liquidity pool that's based off of the arbitrage between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it'll trade the arbitrage between those two to create a yield. There will also be other ways that yield will be able to be generated, I'm assuming. But, for me, I'm waiting patiently to see these AMMs get released. see them get vetted, see them have, some testing done, see them move some serious amounts of money in volume before I give them my precious XRP for any AMM. But it is very exciting what's coming to the space. Zach, we talk about silver. How about silver ETF in the stock market? Easy in and out, or do we not trust the market? Good question. So the markets are rigged, and I don't trust that folks have the metals to actually back them. And there's a lot of claims representing the claim to gold, representing the claim to silver, that I think are going to be found to be empty when the time comes. Now, with that being said, you can get greater exposure. If you want greater exposure to gold or silver, then you invest in the mining companies, right? You invest in the mining companies, and I'm not here to tell you what to do or give you financial advice, but typically that's how you leverage the movement in gold and silver further than just owning gold and silver. For me, I want blackout barter. Blackout barter is the term that I came up with, and it's not just silver, it's not just gold, it's food, it's essentials, it's my snap peas, it's my pole beans. You get my point? When the systems go down, what of value do you got? You got cash, you got silver, you got gold. What else you working with? Can you protect it? That is a big part of why I get into silver. Not so much to trade it. I don't really trade silver. Otherwise, if I was trading silver, then I could see why you would use, the investment vehicle of an ETF. But to me, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in a stock certificate that represents some silver. I want silver, the metal, in hand. 1 ounce, 10 ounce. I need to get some more on hand. But yeah. To me, I'm not too much into the stocks in general, and the ETF exposure to the metals. If I wanted to leverage it, I just haven't had enough time to research the gold and silver mining companies, but that's where my move would be. I would take the time to research some gold and silver mining companies, because they're going to be the ones that, win and appreciate just off of this move that's coming. Buy grains now, flour, etc. I saw that there was panic in Costco somewhere in Texas here recently again. We went through a lot of the supply chain crisis, and I worry that we're going to still be going through tight supply chains, for the foreseeable future, just because a lot of companies are going out of business. Like the Yellow Trucking Company just announced bankruptcy coming this week. On Monday, apparently, they're going to be shuttering their doors and announcing bankruptcy. That's one of the largest trucking companies in the United States. So even if the supply chain is artificially, made worse for whatever reason, whether that's the agenda, whatever that may be, right? I agree. I think that the supply chain crisis should be solved. But there has been some legitimate issues. Most of those are gone now. Most of those have been adjusted and filled. But you're going to see issues with companies. The largest trucking company in the United States closing its doors is not a booming economy. Is that included in Bidenomics? Or do we not include that? Just like we chose not to call 2022 a recession, even though we met the technical definition of a recession. I am going to never let that go as long as I live. People want to say that, well, we may be going into a recession. Oh, now we're not forecasting it. We redefined recession. So give me the new definition. Because as far as I'm concerned, in 2022, last year, we redefined recession. But as I understand it, we're just redefining everything now. Redefining everything as we know it. That's fine. Just tell me what it is. I'll tell you right now that I believe that the dollar ain't what it used to be. And that's reflected by when I go to the store to buy some groceries for my family. The underdog XLM has been very undervalued and overlooked, in my opinion. I agree, but also they work in the shadows. Jed McCaleb is notorious for kind of being behind the scenes guy. And, he's got his space company too, Vast. So very interesting what they're doing at Stellar. but they have been more vocal as of late. Like the last year or so, they've been more vocal with their CEO and then Danelle Dixon. And then they've been putting out more content on YouTube too. And they've been doing market reports, kind of like Ripple. They're in every way, they're copying Ripple dang near. Like they're not going after some of the bigger markets, I would say. But in so many ways, they're copying Ripple with kind of their market updates and everything they've been doing. And then with what they're adding to the ledger. The XLM Stellar Network is following very closely behind the XRP ledger with automated market makers. I don't know if they've done an amendment or if they're considering one for NFTs, but I'm sure we'll see some sort of NFTs. We actually think that there's going to be a lot tokenized on XLM too. And I think that that's where all the value is going to come from, is what's going to get tokenized and, placed on these ledgers and settled on these ledgers. And both bring value, right? Value getting stored on ledger brings value, and value getting settled on ledger brings value. Two different ways. And when you look at XRP being deflationary along with XLM, every transaction burns some, the more transactions that we get, the faster we start to burn the supply that's already limited. It's not this administration's concern. They really are mocking us and treating us as if we're stupid by the way that they tell us that we should be feeling good about this economy and that most Americans are not worried about inflation. It's not a concern. It's crazy. So we know that they're going to be tokenizing real estate with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Ripple is. We're looking at other ways to tokenize real estate. But like I said, just because XRP, the underlying asset, isn't a security doesn't mean that you can't create a security using XRP as the underlying asset or the collateral for that contract. So you can still make a securities offering, an investment contract with your XRP, but it's not going to be the XRP that's the security. It's going to be the contract that you create. So we got to be careful with how we do this. It's like, so this is why it's like we have clarity on XRP. We just don't have clarity quite yet on how to build on these ledgers in a way where, do we have to register? Do we not have to register? What, what is the offering here? How do we structure the offering so that it's not a security? That's to be determined. And that's going to be determined in the rest of this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. TikTok, YouTube, thank you. What else do we have? So we're watching Congress closely because they are starting to move. They are starting to, talk a little bit more. And what you're seeing is the facts are just hitting so quickly that the mainstream media, that they can't just cover it up. And the embarrassment that's taking place on Capitol Hill right now with Dianne Feinstein not even knowing where she's at, Mitch McConnell looked like he had a health emergency, like literally looked like he had a stroke. So, I guess we're praying for our members of Congress because they're so damn old. We don't know when they're going to, I mean, golly, this is embarrassing. It really, 90 years old. The clip of Dianne Feinstein, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play any of it, but it's just embarrassing as an American. But all part of a plan. America is going through a shaming ritual. Absolutely, Stephen, 100%. They're going through a shaming ritual and they're setting us up for sacrifice to roll us into WorldCoin, digital ID, the whole 9 yards. And for me, I was thinking about this. They're going to have people walk into this no problem. And I think it's going to be, it starts with little tests like this. But you have folks that are already so used to giving up their Face ID with their phone. And like I said, so it's like, if you completely want to go off the grid and not be tapped into the matrix at all, you are living on a farm out in the middle of nowhere. That's the only way. It's the only way. You're living with the Amish. God bless them. You know what I'm saying? To use this technology at all, they are all up in your business. Now, I've gotten comfortable with it. I've gotten comfortable with putting out content and having my face and name on everything. I'm not an Anon account, hiding behind a weird profile picture and a weird name. You guys know who I am. I put it all out there. And, so I'm kind of used to it. But in the same regard, we really got to respect our privacy and understand, how it's being used. And then the exposure with our families and our children's too. It's getting crazy. No politicians getting prayers from me, 100%. These guys have sold us out. Their time is long gone. Long gone. And many of them are criminally corrupt at the highest levels. Appreciate you guys. And now we have the aliens. That's right. Now we have to deal with the aliens, of course. Unbelievable. And it's like the same day that big bombshells for the Biden crime family drop, the very same day we get the balloon in the sky. And they literally dropped the movie Don't Look Up on us. What was that, a year ago, 2 years ago, they dropped that movie? Leonardo, Don't Look Up. The predictive programming is crazy. This whole thing starts to drop and unfold. We get a balloon in the sky. We're all looking up at the balloon. Now, the plea deal falls through and... Okay, we should be able to talk about this. I'm just going to come out and say this. Our president's son, his lawyers and the team behind them, they literally called the court and just tried to get the whole thing scrubbed. They literally pretended... And acted as if they were the other side's Congressman Jack Smith's lawyers or part of their team. They tried to defraud the court and get the whole thing removed. And they got caught. And that's why the plea deal with Hunter just didn't go through. He was trying to get a plea deal where he signed this plea deal and he couldn't be held accountable for the rest of his crimes, including the foreign entity crimes that the judge asked about at that hearing. And then he contradicted his father's statement under oath by saying that, yes, they have talked business. So you try to not get political. You try to not pick a party. You try to just want the best for America. How do we explain that? How does anybody explain that now? And I mean, it's like you can't find one person that is excited and thrilled about life under President Joe Biden and the work that he's done. Now, are we still offended about the big bad orange man? Yes, absolutely, of course. You have every right to be. Still be offended by him. Still think that he deserves to get 3 new charges today. 3 new charges for the classified documents. Okay. But how do you explain what just took place this last week? And of course, they come through with the distraction. Aliens. Non-biological remains found within the craft. And now, if you look on Netflix, if you look on Amazon Prime, you look at all the alien content that's come out. All the documentaries, all the disclosure, all the retired guys from S4 who are going to reveal all secrets, and they got a movie to sell, they got a book to sell, they got a deal to sell, don't they? Which, half of it sounds like there's something there, for sure. Maybe more. Right? You look at this and you're like, well, okay, I mean, it's 2023. We just accept everything now, right? It's unbelievable. But right on time, right on cue. Right on cue. As JP Morgan, Bank of America say that they submitted over 170 disclosures, warnings about the financial activity of the Biden family. Aliens. Yeah, and I put out the tweet yesterday. I said that the aliens are going to be the ones that buy back our XRP. The intergalactic reserve currency, XRP, the proposal is now going to have to go to the aliens, not the Federal Reserve. The red folder, the documents, it's going to have to go to the aliens. Had to get the big binder clip right here. Had to get the big binder clip. What was this? 34? Yeah, 34 pages on the order. Judge Torres. Summary judgment. What a hell of a fight, guys. What a hell of a fight. And if the aliens are going to be buying back our XRP, I mean, the price has to go up. Right? The price has to go up. All right, guys, I'm going to run. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. We got an exclusive update that's coming to our Discord members. So if you guys are looking to get tapped in, please join us over there in the family, the community that just continues to grow so strong. Going to be dropping an exclusive emergency post over there. So if you're looking to get tapped in, it's all over at my website, ZachRector.com. We got the Discord. We got the precious metals. Let us know. We can ship them to your house. We can roll over your 401k retirement account. Let's help you get it done. Get in touch with me if you're looking to grow your business, if you're investing in real estate, if you're moving and shaking. Let's get a deal done. Let me know how we can help you. Let me know what value we can bring to you. And I just appreciate everyone in the community for the support. It's been truly amazing. And so on the way out, if you guys could do me a big favor, just smash that thumbs up for me. Make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell. And we got more content coming tomorrow. So stay tuned. We dropped an earlier update, SEC coming for crypto. Make sure you guys didn't miss that. That's a quick 10-minute episode if you're looking to watch that one. 10 minutes, dropped it earlier today. SEC coming for crypto. More stuff coming tomorrow, and we got a lot to break down. So with that being said, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hope you guys had fun in the conversation Q&A here tonight. Did I miss another super chat? I think I missed another super chat. If I missed the super chat, I apologize. Wow. Oh, man, you guys are humbling. Corepins.com. Corepins, it's been a while since I've seen you, and I remember you because last time you came through Corepins, you made it rain like this before. Corepins comes in with a 200 spot tonight. Good show, thanks. Corepins.com. Not a sponsor, but they did show some support tonight with a 200 spot. And I remember you because I was like, what an odd name, corepins.com. And I looked it up. It is your business and you got a real business, Corepins. You know, the weirdest businesses are the most, the biggest money makers, the biggest cash hogs, just the weirdest businesses. So I appreciate that. Corepins.com. Good thing I checked back on the super chats. Much love and support in the chat here tonight. So much love for you guys. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Make sure we smash that thumbs up on the way out. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. TikTok, YouTube, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.